Welcome to Eggcellent Adventures, where I, your host Reec Swiney, take a step away from my duties as a radio and TV personality and give you a first-hand look at my other love, backyard chickens and homesteading. Take a listen to conversations I have with others who are in farming, homesteading, and connected brands. And some of those conversations go a little like this.
She does say I have too much, though. She says I have too many, but I don't think I have enough.
The chicken math started mathing.
Yep, it's never ending.
I only started with like 4 laying hens. Now I have over 100 chickens and geese and quail.
So the first question we ask everybody that comes on to the Eggcellent Adventures, what was your old cluck moment?
The first thing that comes to mind is when the first time I got locked inside one of my own chicken coops.
We talk about the highs, the lows, and everything in between. Now let's see who's on this episode of Eggcellent Adventures. All right, y'all, we back at it with another Eggcellent Adventures. Reec right here from Media Campus West. We have a very special guest right here with us, Branden of Sanders Wildlife. We met him through a mutual friend, family, I'm gonna say, and he's doing some amazing stuff in the form of wildlife and moving animals to where they're not supposed to be, where they are places they're not supposed to be. He gets them out of there, but he also educates along the way. He has some great content, and he also visits some schools too. So we're gonna talk about all that stuff. What's up, Branden?
What's going on, man?
Not much, man.
Man, thanks for having me out.
Absolutely. Now, our first question is what we usually ask people is like, what was your old cluck moment? That's the moment that a lot of people we interview are in, they have chickens or ducks or anything, wildlife or something like that, right? So in your case, like, what was a moment that you knew you're the wildlife guy?
Well, man, it's been a long road, and so I got into this because of my family originally. So so I grew up with baby raccoons, and foxes.
Wait a minute, hold on.
All sorts of
So you like a real life Disney movie. So you have like baby raccoons and stuff around the house, and just
you can say that I've got 5 baby deer in my backyard right now.
Wow. Okay.
So I have animals come and go, and so I've already had animals. A couple call today, an otter, skunk, and so we're typically a halfway point, but I grew up rehabbing. So my father and my whole family, so my sisters, my mom, we grew up, we'd always have some kind of animal. We were rehabbing, taking care of, getting back out in the wild. And, I've got a picture out there with me and my dad, and I'm on my dad's one left knee, and I got a little raccoon on the right.
So that's cool,
so
man.
It started from a young age.
Yeah.
Man, and, kind of went down the path of, I went to college for networking, actually.
Okay.
And, so there's a little bit of time where I'm like, I don't know if that's going to be what I do, and end up being a day that I decided I'm going to start my own company, and go down that route. And I'm like, man, I'm going to do things a little bit differently. And, so it's really been all my life, but there was, a moment I would probably say, man, I did it straight out of high school, where I was actually helping my dad. He ended up selling his company, and I kind of took over a lot of his customers and decided I was going to do my own. But there was eventually a point where, I was like, you know what, I think I really enjoy this, and I've done it my whole life, but I want to continue doing it. I want to do it a little bit different. And so I do wildlife education and rescue, mixed in with humane wildlife exclusion. Okay. And so what technical exclusion is we're getting animals at people's houses. And so we try to be humane about it, and meaning, try to look at each situation in a different way, that, these animals were here before we were. Right. So we're essentially stepping into their home, but at the same time, they're getting into places where they're unwanted, people's houses, and, farms as well. So we try our best to help people coexist with them, and find different techniques on, getting them out in a safe manner, trying to keep the animals alive if we can, and then also helping injured animals. We kind of look at it as if there's human interaction and that animal got hurt because of a human, hit by a car, we like to step in and help. Gotcha. And we love letting nature be nature. Nature can be brutal. So, we try to let nature be nature, but whenever it's needed and they need an extra hand, we'll lend that extra hand, get them to where they need to go to. And we work with a lot of amazing organizations, wildlife rehabbers, nonprofits, and then, of course, talk to a lot of schools too. So it's always fun seeing the children's face light up.
Yeah, it is, especially when you bring an animal they hadn't seen before.
Oh yeah,
like you said, you or everybody's not having you on one knee and a baby raccoon on the other knee. So when they get to see these animals, it lights them up.
Oh
That's
yeah,
cool.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that they all haven't experienced them their whole life, like I've been able to, and so it's fun to kind of like to share my own love for the animals and get people excited about them. And because a lot of people that dislike them or fear them, a lot of it's just lack of education, lack of knowledge, and so. That's the big thing with the education part is just educating a little bit more about what these animals do while they're here. Yeah. And what ways, what things that we can do better to avoid that kind of conflict. Right. Of stepping on a snake when you walk outside your house or having raccoons that have babies in your attic, how to get them out. And so there's some of the things that we do.
There we go. What's probably the most common thing that you're constantly educating people on?
I would probably say one big thing is predators. Okay. I love our predators, our native predators that we have here in Georgia and across the U.S. So we're a big advocate on those. But snakes is another one. Explaining people what snake they're finding. If it's venomous or non-venomous snake. So I'd say between snakes and foxes, coyotes, those kind of things. Okay. I'm going to take you down a rabbit hole. No pun intended. So because a lot of people that listen to this podcast or follow us have either chickens or like backyard poultry, right? And I guess snakes right now will be a thing they're finding when they open up those chicken coops. Oh, yeah. So tell us about snakes. How do we identify whether it's poisonous or non-poisonous? So, here in Georgia, you can go by certain rules that don't necessarily work for other states. Right. Here in Georgia, typically a pointy-headed, a certain shape head versus a flat head. Run. Exactly. You're going to have a more of a pointy-headed shape. This could be more of a venomous snake. We do have certain snakes, here in Georgia, it's usually more in the South. We do have coral snakes. So there are some snakes that don't fit those particular descriptions. Gotcha. But in most cases, the most venomous species that people are coming across are going to be copperheads, cottonmouths, and sometimes rattlesnakes. Okay. Not necessarily towards the city, but, down south, out west, where I'm originally from, there's definitely ones that pop up. But the biggest thing is like we have what's known as a DeKay's brown snake. Okay. It's a very small snake. Yeah. We get a lot of calls around this time of year that, we found a copperhead. We're scared, we're worried. And when we go out there, it's actually a DeKay's brown snake. Okay. And so DeKay's brown snake, they're great at eating insects, going after insects. And so, so when we go out there, we're like, oh, that's just a DeKay's brown snake, nothing to be scared of, and it calms people's nerves and whatnot down a whole lot. But they typically are going to have a more of a slender and shaped head. And when it comes to a baby copperhead, if you were to come across an actual baby copperhead, first of all, they're not actually being birthed until late summer. Okay. So early spring, you're not going to find a baby copperhead. Okay. But they will usually have a light yellow to green tip tail. Okay. So that's where the rattler's coming in at. Well, so it's not necessarily a rattler on the copperhead. Right. But they will use it like a rattlesnake. And it's said that they actually use that as a lure. Oh, okay. To lure different insects and different prey. Okay. And then, of course, usually about a year to 2 years, that goes away, and it's just all the same Hershey kiss kind of pattern that goes down the copperhead. So that's one indicator we like to pass along, to kind of help ease people's fear that hey, this isn't a copperhead, but this is what you should look out for if you find one. And late summer, copperheads also give live birth, so you have snakes that lay eggs. And so you have snakes that lay eggs. And you have snakes that will actually give live birth. Okay. So they have birth, and the snakes come out as snakes soon as they lay them. And like I said, that usually happens late summer. But right now during spring, we have a lot of them mating. Okay. And rat snakes, king snakes, rat snakes. It's very common to go in somewhere and see them in a big ball.
Yeah.
And so that's what's going on in those situations
right.
that they're mating. And they will pick an area where they've got a good food source nearby.
Okay.
So, a lot of people find them in chicken coops.
Spring has sprung, and guess what? That means chick season is here. So if you're looking to start your flock, add to your flock, or maybe add a few ducks, chickens, or geese, My Pet Chicken is the website for you. And if you're just getting started, they even have a tool to help pick the perfect poultry for your backyard flock. Check them out today at mypetchicken.com. Right now, you can get $10 off when you join the SMS Club. mypetchicken.com. Raise fun, happy, and healthy chickens from live poultry to coops and supplies. My Pet Chicken has everything you need to start, grow, and maintain your backyard flock. Shop today. mypetchicken.com. Yep. Just found one.
Yep.
Luckily, I didn't find a ball of snakes, though.
and there are some species of snakes that's where actually what they do is the female will release a pheromone and the other snakes all come and they just ball up in a big old pile.
Okay.
Yep. So we have that happen too, because we always get asked, do you find a den of snakes somewhere? Am I going to come across a den? And while that can happen with rattlesnakes, and it does happen in Texas and a couple of different places, it's a whole lot less likely, here in Georgia. But you will come across those situations where there's a lot of snakes in one area, but it's usually because of mating.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, that makes sense. So they're basically just opening the club up for the rest of the snakes to come down and have a party.
Exactly.
A party I'd never want to be at. I'm going to tell you that right now. I love animals, man.
It's one I usually get invited to.
Yeah, man. Call Sanders. Don't call me. Man, that's pretty cool. So what was it the first time you walked into one of those situations where it was like a den of snakes? What was going through your mind?
Oh man,
I need more buckets.
Like, I start thinking like, well, how much am I getting paid for this job?
Gotcha.
No. Usually when I walk in one of those situations, I kind of get laser focused, and and one big thing is I started filming content, and one of my biggest issues during that time was getting out of that mode of just jumping in the job and getting it done, because I get so laser focused. But you got to, whenever you're getting in those situations, it's you got to be ready to go. Ready for anything to happen. Ready for a bite to happen. But being on guard and on game. And luckily, I've never been, knock on wood, I've never been bitten by a venomous snake.
Okay.
So
we're gonna keep that streak going, Branden.
Yes.
All right. Let's keep that streak going.
That's what I'm hoping. So it's all about proper attack. Just being aware of your surroundings, and then also having proper gear. So in most cases, someone calls me with a venomous snake, I've got tongs, I've got gloves. So I'm staying safe for the most part.
I saw you with the gloves. You look like you were in a daggone like a medieval times gloves going all the way up your arm. I saw those.
Man.
So when you go to a situation with venomous snakes, you have all the proper gear. Let's say I stay in a place that is known to have venomous snakes, but I also have wildlife. Like I also have my farm animals, right? What are some things I should have or keep around just in case I need to make a move really quick before you can get to me? Because I'm calling you next. But what should I have at the house?
So, I mean, that's definitely something good to bring up. Snake tongs or snake hook, is always good to have. Something that gives you a good reach between you and the animal or the snake, for you to either move it, get it out of a certain situation. Snake tongs work well, in the sense of if you've got a snake that has maybe bit an animal, it's got a hold of them. You want to get a hold of that head. That's the main thing. The rest of the snake, you can deal with it when you deal with it.
The head is actually the most dangerous part.
Yes. And even non-venomous snakes, I don't necessarily want to get bit by any snake.
Right.
And they're not going to, it's not going to hurt you as long as you keep it clean and get medical treatment if you do get bit by a non-venomous species. But yes, getting control of that head is very important. So snake tongs, snake hook, always good to have. There's certain traps too that we do keep. And actually one particular trap that we actually will use when we're trying to capture a snake is this actually much like a crawdad trap.
Okay.
It's got an egg in it.
Okay.
And what
I got plenty of those. I got plenty of bait.
Exactly. And what happens is what happens in chicken coops. they get in there, they eat that egg, and then they're too big to get back out.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep. So it works in that same kind of pretense. They go in there, they eat the egg, they can't get back out that same way. And you go out there, you can remove it. So that's one way, you know, as far as trying to trap them out. One other good thing to keep on site is hardware cloth.
Okay.
You know,
we got that too.
Yeah. You know, just to, another good thing, and I see this at a lot of places, and most people do have it, but a shield of some sort. Okay. You know, I'll tell a story from when I was young.
All right, let's do it. Let's go down memory lane.
So we used to have chickens growing up.
Okay.
Know? So my dad raised chickens. I had to go out there and feed them. We had some mean chickens.
Yeah, roosters. And they'll spur you.
Roosters.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You gotta watch them.
Let me tell you had the umbrella trick.
so pretty much, man. Well, for me, I was a kid, so I had a old plastic night armor. Okay,
that's cool. That takes me back.
So I put that night armor on. I have my shield.
Yeah.
And I go out there and say, "All right, you getting fed today?" I put that shield up and just go out there and do my thing and let them attack that shield.
Yeah.
And same thing works, you know, for most animals is having some kind of shield, protect your shins.
Gotcha. Protect
yourself. You know, especially going out there and having to remove an animal from somewhere. You've got something now to block you from that animal trying to bite you.
Yeah. Sir Branden of West Georgia with the shield.
Hey, and it worked too.
I like it.
It worked.
That's cool. I can't wait to go to Toys R Us and grab me a shield now. I can relive my childhood and stay protected.
Exactly. Man, you find actual use for it.
Yeah. That's cool, man. Especially with Game of Thrones come back on. Now we can live our fantasies.
There we go. Get you a sword too.
Yeah.
You know, you never know.
Get a snake hook sword and a shield. There we go. Man, that's cool. That's cool, man. I appreciate the information. I know a lot of people out there that are wondering, like, this is the time where we got snakes and getting the chickens and eggs and baby chicks, and, you know, to be able to protect them is key.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. You know, and you know, that's a big thing too, is, you know, these animals were here first. Of course they're going to be here. Of course, they're going to try to get food, you know, but we're also out here trying to survive.
Yeah, we're laying out buffets for them, so we really can't blame them.
No, we can't blame them. We can't blame them, but there are little tricks of the trades, you know, that you can at least try and you know, try to do. And, you know, there's definitely a few of them out there. They don't always work, but sometimes they do work, and it's at least good to give it a try.
Yeah.
Another example is, you know, we get a lot of calls, people's hawks.
Yeah.
And one thing that has worked for some customers, hasn't worked for some, is getting a black chicken. And so
I got some black Australorps that have been keeping them. It seems like they keep them away.
Exactly. You know, and the biggest reason for that is a crow is a hawk's worst enemy. Yeah. You know, and so having a black bird that they can visually see, you know, that's actually moving around, kind of works as a scarecrow that's alive in a sense, you know. We'll keep them at bay for the most part.
Okay, good. So the black chicken strategy does work sometimes.
Exactly.
There we go.
Yep, unless you get a really hungry hawk.
And there's nothing stopping him.
Yeah, exactly.
He's coming to KFC.
Yep.
And that's cool, man. So we have a Mr. Who on top of our coop, right? We got this fake owl, and it turns his head at night, and then every few weeks we move him. How much does that work?
So that's one thing that you have to do if you're using it, is moving it. Okay. Moving it on a good basis, on a normal basis, keeping it moved, having its head turn. Awesome thing. It can work. But typically the ones that just stay there, and they're just like a little statue. Yeah. It's, you know, it's nothing.
They figure it out.
Oh yeah. Because they'll just sit there. They don't got anything else better to do. Yeah. They just sit there and watch, you know, they just say, okay, well, this thing ain't alive. I'm going to keep doing what I was doing.
Yeah.
But if they see it's moving, see it's in a new location the next day, they're going to be way more weary of it.
Gotcha. Gotcha, man. That's cool. Great information right there, man.
Yeah, man.
Tell me about security when it comes down to some of our four-legged friends. I had a friend call me and they was like, actually was interviewing somebody and they were saying they had chickens and they lost their chickens. And they said something got in the coop. And I said, were the heads missing? They said, yeah. I said, it was probably a raccoon. Yeah. And they were like, really? I said, yeah, it's probably a raccoon. She's like, yeah, we were wondering why I didn't eat anything but the heads. Yeah. So is that something to look out for?
So, you know, first of all, raccoons they destroy nests. They go after nests. And there was actually a situation before where the sea turtle nest, they get protected on our coast. They thought coyotes were what was getting to the nest. Come find out, it's raccoons.
Yeah.
And so raccoons will go after a lot of those nests and eat eggs and different things like that. But what we typically see is fox. Fox love the chicken.
Yeah.
They usually, most people think it's coyotes in a lot of cases when they walk up to a situation like that.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing, as far as protecting against them, because, you can trap all you want, but there's always going to be another animal that's going to come fill that void.
Right.
As long as you got a food source there, they're going to keep coming. So the real solution, is to have a protected area for your chickens to go.
Okay.
It's a lot harder for people to do, but there's a lot of people that I talk to that have free range chickens. They lose half of their population.
Yeah. It happened to me. So not half, but it happened. We have an area that's fenced in. It's about an acre worth of area that's fenced in. Yeah. The dogs kind of patrol that area when they can. I have some very brave chickens. I don't know why they say chicken is chicken when they say, oh, you're scared, you're chicken. No, chickens are fearless. And that's the problem because they have a mixture of fearlessness and deliciousness. Yeah. Right. Yeah, so they love to jump over the protected area. And when they do that, then they, they're open to the elements. Yep. And we were getting a fox come in and he learned my work schedule and everything. So these guys are smart.
They're smart. They just sit there and watch it.
We've reached that part of the show where we hook you up with some insider information. And this time it's some egg side information. Y'all know what I mean. Because people ask me all the time, how do you get your chickens so fluffy and healthy and happy? And their eggs are so bright, beautiful, and they taste delicious too. I would love to dedicate all those things to me coming in and having a great time in that chicken coop every day and shaking it up with those ladies. But the fact is, it comes from a healthy and balanced diet of Purina's Layina. That's the brand we use. Whether you've got laying hens and you want to go with the Purina Layina plus omega-3, or you got a bunch of baby chicks running around in your brooder and you go with that Purina Start and Grow Crumble, you can't lose. I know we haven't. So visit their website today, and in 3 easy steps, you can get discount coupons for the Purina product that's right for some great nutrition for your animals. I did it myself and it only took me about 2 minutes. It's absolutely worth it. And to make things easier, we have the hyperlink on our website, blackyardchickens.com. Just look under product of the month and you'll see the link right there to go and try your Purina Feed Greatness. And through their trial program, they can pair you with the right nutrition and let you try it with your animals and see the results. Now, I can tell you all day how Purina Feed Greatness has been absolutely phenomenal for my chickens, goats, ducks, and rabbits. But you can see for yourself. Go to blackyardchickens.com. Now let's get back to this week's adventure.
When it comes to that chicken, it's like gold to them. Yeah, they can do everything they can to get to it, and learning how to seal your chicken coop is the best protection that you can get. Using proper hardware cloth. Yeah, doubling that hardware cloth up. Even putting it underneath the ground as far as them digging up to come up underneath. So having that area, keeping them up at night, it's going to be, the best way to protect them. Yeah. And, they'll come after them. And when it comes to fighting those guys, they are smart. Yeah. They can climb too. Gray foxes can climb. Red foxes, they say they don't climb, but I've seen that happen before. And as far as just like a couple feet, maybe 10 feet high to get in somewhere, grab food, they'll figure it out and do it. Yeah. And, so thinking about all those things, as far as having the roof open, like I said, the foundation in the ground, if they can burrow up underneath it, get up on, inside the coop, learning how to keep them out, or having protection. And, one thing I see a lot of people do, I don't remember the name of the dog, but a lot of people use dogs.
Yeah, I got a Great Pyrenees.
Great Pyrenees.
Yep. So they use the livestock guardian dog. So they're it's another form of protection as far as just having another animal out there that's going to stand guard. Making sure that all the other animals are taken care of, and they're great guardian dogs. Yeah, they are. She's like a wonderful people. Yeah. But when it comes down to anything that looks like an animal that's not supposed to be back there, she is on it. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. So they do really stand guard, and so
that's as far as like an active patrolling, animal. That's one of the best that you can get, and they're such a big dog too. And in most cases, they're usually friendly as compared to humans. Unless it's the wrong human.
Right, that's the wrong human. Yeah,
he's supposed to be there.
We got a German Shepherd for that. So we got one for day shift and one for night shift.
There you go. That's what to do.
Yeah. Man, that's a lot of great information, because I was having the world of a time trying to trap this fox, and then I was like, okay, maybe the trap smells like me, so it's not coming around.
Yeah.
And I watched some YouTube videos, and I wish I had your number then. But somebody was like, just use the restroom around the yard and the fox will stop coming. So I was like, let me call my neighbor. Let me tell her that's what I'm about to do, because I don't want her walking outside and then I get arrested. You know what I mean?
For all you men out there who want a really good excuse to pee off the porch.
Yeah, there you go. Just say you got a fox problem.
Because it works too.
Yeah, it did. It did.
And because I use pee of different animals in my job.
Okay.
To
tell me about that. Let's go down that.
So when say we've got babies, raccoon babies in an attic.
Okay.
So they're just born. Mama raccoon goes up in the attic. She has her babies up there. And we've got to get them out. Well, how the rules are, first of all, in Georgia, for a rabies vector species, which raccoon falls under that.
Okay.
Any Canidae family, fox, coyote, they all fall under rabies vector species.
Okay.
They are technically supposed to be put down if you capture them. For most people who have NWCO license or a trapper license.
Right.
But with what we do a little bit different. So we don't have to trap and kill all these animals that just get into an attic. And in the situation where a mama moves her babies in there, sometimes she can have them in a nook and cranny far into the attic. It's hard to get to.
Yeah.
We got to cut through the sheetrock to get into them and get to them. What we actually do is we use the scent of another male raccoon.
Okay.
And so what that does is we'll go up there. We'll use raccoon pee. We can get some synthetic stuff. We can get the real deal too. But we go up there and put it. The most dangerous thing to that mama and her babies is another raccoon.
Okay.
So, because what typically happens, nature
being nature.
Nature be nature. A male will come in there, kill the babies,
right,
and then mate again with the mama,
right, to make his own family.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Exactly. So, so for her, if she goes in there and she smells that pee when they're really young, she'll actually move them one by one out of the house.
Okay.
And we got a lot of footage and whatnot. We'll put up cameras when we do that. It's really interesting to watch it happen. But yeah, sure enough, she marks that as a unsafe location. Says, I'm going to get out of here.
No fly zone. Let's go.
Yep. Let's get out of here. Then we seal up the area and, customers happy. Everything's taken care of. Everybody's happy. Yeah. And so that's one instance that we use pee, and definitely peeing around people's yards. Yeah. We don't go out. Ma'am, I'm going to go take care of this.
Right. I'll be back.
Paying me, right?
Let me get 2 gallons of water in 10 minutes. Job's done.
Oh, man. So, yeah. But that, it actually does work. You know? So human pee definitely can keep them at bay, keep them away. And we have had situations too where like wolf pee can work for coyotes or foxes. Okay. It's not 100% guaranteed.
Got you.
But
because that animal may be sick or it may be hurt, and then they go into desperation. So they'll do anything when they're sick or hurt, right?
Oh, yeah. So it's animals are like people. They're all different. They're all there for different reasons. Yeah, you might have one that's hurt and sick, maybe not even thinking correctly, or you might have some who just thinks he's the big dog. Right. The big dog. I don't care. Right. Come in my territory. And in those cases, they're going to keep doing what they're doing and not really even be phased or concerned about it. But a lot of cases it hurts or it does work, and it doesn't hurt to try.
Yeah. There you go.
In a situation like that, a lot of weirdly, you can order a lot of pee off Amazon.
I saw that. I was so like, I went down that rabbit hole, and I was like, this is crazy. Why is there so much different pee on Amazon?
All sorts of different pee, man. Someone's making some business.
Somebody's making they are. I was like, male wolf pee, raccoon pee, this pee, that. I was like, why is there so much pee on Amazon?
Oh man, the internet and this world is a wild world.
It is,
man. So you can be an entrepreneur about anything, apparently.
You really know. As the P Man. I don't want to be known as the P Man. Talk to me about like what's one of the wildest calls you've gotten?
Oh man, growing up, first of all, my dad had some wild calls. I will say, my dad was one of the first people licensed in the state of Georgia to do the work that we do. Okay. As far as a NWCO, which is what my title is from the state. We're licensed through the state, the DNR, and it's Nuisance Wildlife Control Operator. Okay, is the name. Right.
So if I have a very bothersome ex-girlfriend, don't call you.
Yeah,
but if I have a raccoon,
don't call me. Exactly.
Nuisance falls on animals and wildlife. Okay, I got
exactly.
you. Let's keep going. I got you.
Now I got some cages big enough.
Right. It's another interview, Branden.
right. So my dad's definitely got some stories, and I've seen a lot of crazy stuff, of course, throughout my years. I bring up my dad because there's a lot of stories growing up, or a lot of situations where I'm just like, wow. And I'll tell one of mine and tell one of his too. I remember he got a call one time. Lady brought a defanged and declawed cougar into a nightclub in Atlanta.
Yikes.
And was feeding it red meat, apparently. And just they were all partying, everybody's clubbing. And he had to go and get that. So we had a cougar for about a week or two, just at the house in a cage, going back and forth. I go out there, check it out. And, before DNR ended up coming, and I'm sure it probably went to a sanctuary or something somewhere.
We've reached that part of the show where we hook you up with some insider information, and this week it's all about eating, pet, and pasture. And I got a 20% discount code for you. As farmers, we know the love and care it takes to raise happy and healthy animals, so choose the best when it comes to bedding, premium cut Timothy hay, and treats for your furry and feathery friends. So if you're looking for super absorbent hemp bedding or nesting pads for your laying ladies, look no further than Eaton Pet and Pasture. Check them out right now at EatonPetAndPasture.com, and first-time shoppers get a 20% discount by typing in Reec at checkout. That's REEC at checkout. Now let's get back to another excellent adventure. That's crazy. Usually when you hear about a cougar in a club, it's a 70-year-old lady with a 23-year-old boyfriend. No, you had a real live cougar.
This one you don't want to take home.
Not at all. I don't want to take the other one home either, but I get it.
Yeah, don't hate the play.
Right, no. Whatever, do what you do. Get your insurance paid. I ain't mad at you, but I get it. All right.
Oh, man. And
but I know that had to be pretty cool as you're younger, you get to go outside and it's a cougar outside.
Oh, man.
It's like going to your own zoo.
Yeah. No, definitely. And there's much like that growing up, different animal each week. Never know what was going to be out there or what, situation was going to go on. And I ride with him too, from a young age. So, technically, I'm 7 years into my company, but I've technically been doing this for
your whole life.
Yeah, my whole life.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So, as far as my stories go, I've got a lot of videos and have documented a lot.
That's why I really like your social media and checking out your pages, man. You got some really great stuff, and it's like inspirational to see somebody doing work that you're taking in consideration that we put a house up on the animal's house, like their property. Yeah. So I'm going to take the care and consideration of the animal when I move them or rehab them. So, man, we appreciate you for that.
Hey, man, I appreciate the support on that, man. And, it's something, too, that operating like that makes me love my job. Yeah. You know what I mean? And because, we love our customers and all people who've been there for us. We're always happy to help our customers and help people, and that's rewarding in itself. Yeah. But helping an animal too, there's just a certain reward to it that it's really nice to kind of go through the process of like, hey man, I know you're scared. I know you can bite me at any time. Right. We're gonna get you in, get you taken care of, and get you back out in the wild.
Man, that's pretty cool.
And like I was saying before, a lot of situations, if there's a human interaction that caused it, you know what I mean? And there's so many different, situations and stories I could talk about. One in particular, though, as far as something that's happened to me, we had a skunk one time.
Oh man, I got chased by a skunk before. I didn't realize they were big until I was like up on it. I was out in Pennsylvania, but I'm gonna let you get to your story.
Oh yeah, man. So we had the striped skunk, which is a bigger skunk, first of all, and that's probably the one you came across. Yeah, like the Pepe Le Pew.
Pepe Le Pew, yeah. Very aggressive fella.
Oh yeah, exactly. Multiple reasons, but, but the one we came across was actually called an eastern spotted skunk. Okay. There's also a western spotted skunk, but this one hitched a ride on a semi-truck from Texas to Georgia.
Wow.
And so what ended up happening, I was supposed to go out of town right before this happened and get a call. Actually, the police department, I think maybe it was Tallapoosa, Harrison County, called me at probably, I want to say 1 o'clock at night. Mm-hmm. And, I'm halfway asleep, answering the phone, like, hey, this lady has a skunk in her semi-truck. Like, what?
Right.
what?
Say it again. Right.
So I go out there, and it was during COVID time. So it was a very interesting situation because, we're all trying to be safe and keep our distance. And she's in the cab. She's got a big pit bull in the cab. So she's like, I know there's a skunk in here. I could smell it. And I saw it for a split second. She just got over the state lines, had stopped at the gas station, filling up her semi, about to get back on the road. She still had to go she went from Texas to Georgia. She still had to go somewhere, I think a good 12 hours away.
Wow. Okay.
So she had a good ride. And, so I'm like, all right, let's check it out. And so I started getting in there, open up the compartments, trying to look for the skunk, finally find them. And it was an eastern spotted skunk. Okay. And so eastern spotted skunks, they're smaller than the striped skunk. Yeah. And they actually will do a handstand when they spray. It's the craziest thing, man.
So he's really aiming to do some damage.
Yeah, whenever they spray you, they are aiming.
Wow,
they got their butt in the air. Yeah, I mean, just like a cocked and loaded gun.
That's crazy.
And so I see them, and because of whatever situation, she couldn't let her dog outside. Mm-hmm. So she's in the cab with me. Yeah, and her dog.
Oh wow!
And me, and the skunk,
So now it's a standoff.
Yes. So now we're in a standoff. We the cab's loaded. I go to grab the skunk, and that guy just sprays.
Oh man!
He probably hit me about 3 times inside the cab. Mm-hmm. Got right in my face, and ended up having to capture him. Got him in the crate. Got him outside. And that poor lady, man, I felt so bad for her because she still had to make that 12-hour trip. Oh man, and that cab was just
rank.
I mean, it was rocked. Wow. I mean, he did a number on that cab, but the whole situation was pretty interesting because we couldn't re-release him.
Yeah, it's not native to
because
it
wasn't
right?
native.
Now it's an invasive species.
Exactly. Right. And because of the federal rules, we couldn't release him because normally if there's diseases, there's all sorts of different reasons. So we're pretty much given an ultimatum by the DNR and said, hey, we either have to euthanize this animal or he has to go in for educational purpose somewhere. Yeah. So luckily we were able to contact Bear Hollow Zoo out of Athens, Georgia. Yeah. And they were able to take him.
Oh man, that's cool. So that's awesome.
So we were able to go and we had to descent him.
Yeah, you got to take the butt glands out.
Yep, in order to travel with him.
Yeah.
So that's what we ended up doing. We got him decented, loaded him up, took him out there, and he's still out there today.
Wow, that's cool, man. Yep. So little Pepe Le Pew got a new home. Mm-hmm. That's cool.
And his name's Walker.
Walker.
They named that because Walker, Texas.
Yeah, because of the standoff.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And he's from Texas.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. Pops, what's one of them movies you watch with the where they have one of them standoffs? OK Corral or something? Yeah, the OK Corral.
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
We're going to Athens to visit Walker.
Oh, yeah, man. I got to admit, he probably won. Because I stunk. I mean, I drove all the way, I think, drove all the way to New Jersey.
Oh, wow.
And I came back, and this was like a week or two later. Mm-hmm. And, man, my truck still smelled.
Wow.
I mean, the whole back of it, the inside. Yeah. my clothes I wore before.
Mhm.
So it's really hard to get that smell off once they hit you.
Yeah, man. I don't need. I know some they say washing tomato juice, but you can't wash the whole car in that.
No.
It's just
You can do your body and clothes, but that stuff gets everywhere, and I can only imagine. I don't have the lady's number, but I can only imagine that poor lady's trip.
Yeah, I believe it.
Oh man,
Wow.
I feel for her. So
wow, man, that's crazy. That is a story, man.
Oh yeah,
that is a story. Because sometimes I see people with pet skunks. Obviously they've been taking the glands out.
Yeah, exactly.
And I see, man, it's a cute little animal, but that's no animal I want to deal with.
Yeah, no, they're pretty fierce, and I mean they even go after snakes. And, other things of that nature. So. But they're beneficial, and for the eastern spotted skunk, it was a cool situation because here in Georgia, their numbers are on the decline.
Okay.
And one thing about the spotted skunk is they seem, and striped skunks too, they don't like people. So a lot of times people don't see them.
Yeah.
Most people don't even know we even have spotted skunks in Georgia.
I haven't seen one.
Yeah.
I've seen more in Jersey when I was younger than I've seen here. I haven't seen any here.
Yeah. And I've seen a handful here, but it's all been striped skunks. I got one from Carrollton out of Southwire out there that got hit by a car that we were able to help that one get it back out in the wild.
Gotcha.
Working with actually another veterinarian clinic, Sweetwater.
Yeah.
Right here.
I know them right there on Lee Road. Yep. Yep. That's actually my shout out to Sweetwater. They take care of my dogs.
They're wonderful people, man.
And they will neuter a bunny.
Yeah.
They will spay a bunny. So I got rescue bunnies that all of them have gotten spayed because we don't want more bunnies and more rescue. So
of course. Yeah, and they know how to multiply for
sure.
Yeah,
they definitely do. Oh, they are very natural at it.
Yes. They are good at it. But yeah, shout out to them, man. They're really great people, and I've known them both for a while, and they've always just jumped on, they helped out with both the skunks that I dealt with. Yeah. They actually did the descenting of the spotted skunk.
Oh, cool.
Yep,
okay.
Yep. And they're licensed for all that. So they deal with exotic animals, on top of our domestic and pets. Yeah. Really good people, man.
That's cool. Yeah. So what would be, because I know you do a lot of rehabbing and all of that stuff. What would be like your, I guess, dream animal to have? Like you get a call for this unicorn of animal, and you're like, I'm going to rehab it, and I got the right habitat for it. I'm keeping it.
Yeah. Well, most animals that I've wanted to help, I have luckily been able to kind of, help in those situations. But at the same time, there are certain animals that come in, and even if I wanted to rehab it, there are people with the wildlife rehabber world. Yeah. There are certain people who are specialists.
Right. Certain animals. I get it. Yeah.
So there are some people who just do them all, but a lot of them, they just focus on, hey, we're going to do these species. We're going to do these species. And so I've been able to work with some of those organizations and wonderful people that are more directed towards certain animals. And we've had a lot of different situations, but I love coyotes.
Okay.
I think they're an awesome animal. They're so resilient. They get a bad rep, a little misunderstood, but man, they are resilient. I mean, they are.
You can tell that from the Roadrunner cartoons.
Yeah, exactly. And so I would say coyotes, are a big favorite of mine. I know there's some other animals out there too that, I'd love to help or kind of love to come across a situation. But a lot of them already have. Yeah. And have had those situations, and we've even had to remove an alligator from a retention pond. Okay. I think here in Douglasville.
Okay, so there are alligators in Douglasville.
So what happened?
I'm moving.
What happened was somebody brought it back from
Florida. Okay, I got you.
Yep. Okay. And dropped it in his subdivision's little pond.
People are very special sometimes.
Yeah, which back in the day, it was legal for you to stop at the gas station and go and just buy one.
Really? Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
Before all the rules, regulations really came down, but there's a reason that those rules and regulations came.
Right. Imagine you just walking by, taking a little walk outside of your neighborhood one day and an alligator jumps out at you.
Oh, yeah. Someone's just got a pet alligator or just running around. So, we don't know what's in our river systems anyway. So there's always a possibility one day. Right. We always get calls of, the Tallapoosa River
Mhm.
of, oh man, I swear I saw one pop up on the river the other day or on the embankment. And then we also get, I'll say this is another call that I would probably love to get and actually know, but panthers.
Okay.
We get, people think they see them.
Mhm.
There's not a lot of documentation as far as people who actually have seen them.
Yeah.
And this has happened, and it does happen, but they come up through like the Columbus area, right on the state line of Alabama and Georgia.
Yeah.
And
okay, thanks, Branden. This is where I stay. Appreciate that, man. Like 10 miles from me.
You never know, man.
Right.
There's a lot of woods in that area.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's also the elevation and how it lays. But there's always those possibility of those animals could be coming up or traveling back and forth. They are endangered, especially like in Florida, like the black panther is, they're endangered.
Yeah.
But they're really cool animals. And, one reason I like the coyotes, they have kind of filled a void. Back in the day, we used to have red wolves here.
Okay. Yeah.
And we used to have more panthers.
Yeah. And red wolves are smaller, so I'm sure that they
smaller.
really help with the rodent situation.
Exactly.
Deer. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the gray wolf's going to be your biggest. And the coyote, during the winter, they look a whole lot bigger than they actually are.
Yeah.
They're
They got that
small.
fur. Yeah.
Yeah. Usually most dogs are way bigger than they are. But yeah, they go after more of rodent populations. They're eating a whole lot of seeds and vegetation. A lot of people think they're just all eating meat. It does happen in situations. They will go after cats, and we have seen them go after, they'll definitely go after fawns in some situations. But they help keep a healthy population.
Yeah.
And a lot of the studies that have happened, like at Yellowstone.
Yeah, I saw that with the wolves.
Yeah, with the wolves.
Yeah, they changed the whole dynamic of how the
Exactly.
Yellowstone works, even when it comes down to how the water was flowing and irrigation and everything.
Exactly. The fish population, the grass on the hills.
It was like 6 wolves changed the whole out, like of 100 acres or something like that, thousands of acres. Yeah.
That's how important having the apex predators are.
Yeah.
And a lot of them got wiped out, over the years because of people, having farmlands or being afraid of walking their dogs, or, all these different reasons. And so for a coyote, they are so resilient when you go after them and start taking out the numbers. There's some studies out there, that will show this too. With just in months, their populations are
right back
normal,
up,
if not high.
Right?
Because they can actually control whether they have male or female when they have babies.
Okay.
And so they're that resilient. And so we tell people a lot of times, you usually just want to leave them alone.
Yeah.
If they're, messing with their population.
Take out 1, 2, come back.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Exactly.
It's almost like clownfish. Like they'll change sexes if it's too many males. They'll change into a female.
Yep.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that stuff's wild too.
Yeah.
But that's how resilient they are. And being that they're a smaller predator too, means they're not going to go after as big of an animal. They're less likely to go after a dog, someone's dog, less likely to go after a cow.
Right.
And,
right.
There are situations where coyotes will live in a group together, but for the most part, they're not really living in a pack. From what we've seen, especially too when they're like a year of age. A lot of them are just solo by themselves, kind of traveling around.
I've seen them team up with like mink. And then the mink will chase something out from under the coyote, grab it, and they share a meal. Yeah. They seem like pretty good neighbors.
No, definitely. And the Aztecs used to call them the god dog, back in the day. There's a lot of different situations. Badgers is another one. Yeah, they team up together.
I think that's what it is. Badgers. Yeah, they'll team up with badgers.
It's pretty interesting to see. And we've got another story and situation we were part of, where a black coyote, which is what's known as a melanistic coat. Everybody thought it was a coy dog. They weren't quite sure what it was jumping in people's backyards and playing with the dog. I mean, and his best friends were these with some Great Pyrenees.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Just love them. I mean, there's all sorts of videos out there of it, but them just playing, jumping around on like a pool cover. And we were actually given permission from the DNR to capture this coyote and take him to a sanctuary.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Instead of having to kill it, put it down. And so we were able to be a part of that, us and a couple other organizations. Atlanta Coyote Project's another one that that brought us into that project to begin with. But that coyote is now at a place called Yellow River Wildlife Sanctuary.
Okay.
And that's in Lilburn, Georgia.
Cool. Okay.
And it's pretty interesting there. I've been able to work with them, my years doing this, and going through my dad's old footage the other day because he was on TV, all this different stuff growing
like
up.
Jack Hanna.
He did all sorts of stuff, but he used to work there too growing up.
Okay.
So it's kind of a cool situation, but you can go there now and they've got 2 coyotes on site that, they also do education.
Okay.
Try to explain people a little bit more about them. And so I'm real big on trying to educate, for our predators. They get enough hate.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
I just think they're interesting. Also being that resilient. Yeah. Coming from, they're great out in the country and out in the urban area in the city. Yeah. Man, they're clashing.
They're clashing with everything else going on. And the people in the clashing in the urban areas too. So we clash too.
Exactly.
Right. A lot of proximity will breed that.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly. Taking over different territories or tearing down stuff and seeing where the paths these animals go. Yeah. And how they get around it, going underneath the highways, through the tunnels and through our rivers and beds. Yeah. So they've got their own paths, railroad tracks too.
Yeah. My dad taught me that a long time ago. Like when you see new construction, you're gonna see wildlife because we're knocking down a lot of their stuff, and you start seeing snakes in people's yards and raccoons and just different things you wouldn't normally see because we've taken out their hiding spots.
Exactly. Exactly. And that happens a whole lot. So whenever that construction gets going, usually during the summer, we start getting calls. A lot of those areas, and we deal with a lot with rats too. Yeah. So we get a lot of rodent calls, snake calls, and turtles too. And so it's one of those things that not every animal will leave its territory. Some of them stay. Yeah. But for the most part, you're usually pushing them out to a new area, and they're just trying to live.
Right. There you go. What's the safest way to move a turtle?
So with turtles, it's a really interesting conversation because like you've got the box turtle, you'll see them a lot when it rains, but whenever they live inside of a range of like about what they say, a football field, 2 foot, bigger than that, but it's relatively small that they stay in their whole life. Yeah. And they say that if you remove that box turtle from that area, it will spend the rest of its life when it comes to mating or having babies trying to get back to that area and usually die trying to get back there.
Gotcha.
So when you come across a turtle, say it's crossing the road, we always tell people don't take it away from there. Just help it whatever way it's facing. Just put it on that other side of the road. Okay. In that way that it was heading. Because you don't ever really want to take them out of that territory.
Gotcha.
And because the odds of them getting back, first of all, are usually slim to none, but they will cross different paths. They will go places they usually wouldn't go and they'll get themselves killed.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So
good info, man. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
I feel like you've probably got 15 calls to move a possum or a raccoon or something since we've been talking. So
man. There's no telling.
Definitely going to let you go, but I do appreciate what you've been saying, especially on the education piece. The more we learn, it takes the fear out, it takes the guesswork out, and now we're not trying to really harm those animals that we've kind of taken their space. Oh, yeah. And now we know who to call. You like the Ghostbusters?
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. call me and be happy to help. In those situations, and if I can't help, I'll know somebody who can. Cool. And man, I appreciate you having me on, and I love talking to you more too. Off camera as well.
Absolutely.
Hear more about what you're doing. Love it, man. The education part of it. Of course, our youth, teaching our youth about these things and just having that education, that knowledge, man, is powerful.
Absolutely, man. We're going to get you our school schedule. So when we go out to some of these schools, you could bring that snake you were talking about and maybe some other stuff and help educate the kids even further.
I love it.
Yep. So on a good mission, man. Once again, Branden, Sanders Wildlife. Make sure that you check him out. Check out all his social media. Give me your social media pages too.
Yeah. So you can find me online, youtube.com/Sanders Wildlife. That's going to be the same for Facebook and Instagram. Facebook.com/Sanders Wildlife. And you can also check me out on my website, which got a little bit more information about our humane wildlife removal wildlife exclusion, and that's at sanderswildlife.com. So pretty simple and easy to find me. My name's Branden Sanders. Greatly appreciate you having me out today.
There it is, man. We will get back to another episode of Eggcellent Adventures later on, but this has been a great one. Make sure that you rewind it back if you got a snake problem in your chicken coop. This man just gave us the recipe to fix that when we up out of here.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Eggcellent Adventures, powered by Blackyard Chickens.
Now, if you think you want to raise your own backyard flock, here's the site for you, blackyardchickens.com. We make entertaining videos about raising baby chicks from scratch. You know what I mean by from scratch, right? Or maybe you want to learn how to take care of your own big chickens or hens and get those fresh eggs, building a coop or buying a coop, having the necessary things inside that coop to get great egg production. You'll learn a lot of the neat tricks I've picked up along the way from other chicken enthusiasts, and you can get pretty eggs just like those. So follow us on social media and check us out on our YouTube channel.